let's talk about the square root of y. And I'm talking about WHY. And really what I want to help you discover or uncover is the reason you do the things that you do. And I do this myself with this concept of the square root of y. So something I ask myself a lot is, why do I do what I do? Why do I teach people how to code? Why do I continuously want to get better at code? Why? Now I'm going to pose this question at you. Why do you want to learn how to code? Now the answer might be so you can get a job. The next portion of the square root of y would be, why do you want to get a job? Well, then the answer after that is, well, I want to make money. Why do you want to make money? So you can pay for the things that cost money, right? Like housing, food, and so on. But there's a lot of things that actually can get you money, right? And it doesn't have anything to do with a specific skill or profession. So then the next question would be, well, why do I want to learn how to code for money? Like, why do I want to learn how to code as a job? Another answer might be, well, it's really challenging. Well, why is it really challenging? And why do I like that it is really challenging? What is it about this challenging that excites me? Well, I like to be stimulated in a way that makes me push beyond what I am comfortable with. Right? So what I'm comfortable with today, I believe there's a lot of growth in challenging that comfort. And I believe that software will help me challenge that comfort and grow to a point where I can maybe create value for others. Right? Now I have a better sort of reason as to why I personally want to learn how to code. And it's not about the money, as you may have noticed. It's about the challenge. Now then, how do we change this to a different question that relates to me itself? Is why do I want to teach other people to learn how to code? Well, one reason is so I can help them find the magic and the joy in this challenge, in this personal challenge that you take on with the mindset of grit, and that you have a growth mindset, that you'll move up in the level, right? So you'll take on this challenge and you'll be able to build upon skills that I hopefully am a part of helping you obtain in some way, but then you're able to go to the next step. That's part of the reason why I love to teach. And I love to teach how to code. I don't love to teach everything because I don't find everything particularly interesting. I find a lot of things interesting. But another reason why I teach code is because I love code as well. And I find that challenge that I just mentioned one of those unbelievably fascinating things. I think it's challenging in my own way to figure out myself on my own. But I also think it's challenging, and it's a great challenge to help you figure it out as well. I've gotten so much better as a software developer, as a coder, because of teaching, because I put out this material that other people interact with and challenge it themselves. Whether they do it consciously or not, they ask these questions or pose these statements that require me to reflect and think about what I do differently. So here's now a bigger and a stronger case as to why I continue to do what I do. Now, the last reason is, I want to help others find financial freedom in the way I know how, and that's through software, right? Through learning how to build things with software that puts your ideas in action. That is another reason for me as to why I want to teach, because you can work and do this kind of job anywhere in the world. So asking these layers of why will help to unpeel your own onion of motivation, right? Eventually, you're going to get to the core as to what it is that really makes you go forward. And if I am really being honest and really pulling back the onions here, I think what it comes back to is that I've always tried to prove other people wrong. I've always tried to prove them that I'm more, that I'm better than what they may think. I've always worked on that. I've always tried to do that. I played basketball. I'm 5'9" on a good day tall. I think that's about 182 centimeters. But basically, I'm not tall. I'm not actually equipped for the stereotypical basketball player. But I played anyway. I had it set in my mind that not only would I be among the best players in my peer group, but also good enough to eventually go on and play professionally. Now, that didn't end up happening because I got injured, and I decided that that wasn't what I really wanted. What I decided was I wanted a challenge of a different kind, a challenge of like skill and mindset and like the things that I do. I mean, the challenge of the mind is really what I wanted. And I think this goes back to when I was a kid. Is there was times that I would get made fun of for maybe not being as clever or as witty as some of my friends, or just not as smart. And even to this day, there's some of those same people are very, very smart. They have this intelligence. And I feel like I have to work harder for it. So I think all of this feeds back into now my burning desire to really take on these really tough challenges of the mind, to not only prove to myself that I can do it, but also prove to myself that even if you started late, even if you decided late, you can always improve. You can always get better. You can always move past to whatever situation that you're in now. And I do this by using that square root of why, of starting with that question of why, and then starting to peel back the onion. And as you do it, you'll start to think of these other sort of deep motivations that you didn't realize were there. You know, you don't think about the time that some kid made fun of you for not knowing whatever, and that might be one of the things that made you reflect deeply in on yourself. Oh, well, maybe my parents weren't telling me the truth. Maybe I'm not actually the smartest kid in class. You know, maybe I'm not the best basketball player on the team. So then it helps you shift your motivation and your mindset to being something better, something more productive, and realizing that becoming better is much more of an intrinsic motivation after you peel back this onion and you discover what it is that is motivating you today. And yes, I would love for you to become a software developer and just kill it if that's something that you really want to do. If you want to have that, if you can peel back that square root of why, if you can peel it back all the way down and find a motivation that you really, really have, and you find that software is the way you want to go as well, that's awesome. But what I'd also love to hear is you listened to me talk about the square root of why, and you started watching stuff from Simon Sinek, who talks a lot about starting with why, and then you come to me and you tweet at me or you send me a message somehow and you say, thank you for putting this out because I stopped doing whatever it was I was doing and completely changed course. And that would be amazing. I think it's a little bit aggressive of me for me to even believe that might happen. But if it happens to one of you, I think this video, this idea, this concept, this thing that I'm talking to you about right now will be worth it. And although if you decide that you want to depart from the software world and you want to just go some completely different direction, I'm in full support of that. I think you need to feel out what it is that you want to do by trying a lot of different things. And if a lot of people think that or tell you that doing software or writing code is super important and you should learn it and blah, 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 a lot of those things I actually agree with. But if you hate it, why would you ever do something that at your core you hate? That should be fairly obvious. But then when you go even higher up, if you don't even love it, why would you do something you don't even love? And I think peeling back that why onion or finding the square root of why will help you find out these things, at least on another level, so you can try new things and figure out if that's what you really want. So personally, I wanted that my own challenge to, number one, to figure out how to be better at some skill than I could be before, and feel really, really good about it, right? Like, I feel really good about how much I know about software. I also know that there's still a lot more to go. I still have a great challenge ahead, and that also makes me feel good, right? And that's part of it. The other part of it is, software, I believe, helped me have agency over my own life and controlling the things that I do on a daily basis. And I think that software was a big part of that. But again, I'm uncovering these things as I'm talking to you. I haven't really thought all of these things out, but I do know that finding the square root of y, or uncovering that y onion, or starting with y, will absolutely help you in the long run. And even if these things change, even if your reasons for doing the things that you do change, that's okay. That's why we are so adaptable as humans. That's why we can jump from one career to another. But it's the motivation. It's this idea that something else is holding you back. And I think the more you get clear as to why you do what you do, the more reasons you'll have to change what it is that you do. Thank you so much.